Hello. I'd like to bring to your attention a series of monthly workshops the Scheinman Institute will be offering this fall, addressing the nature, causes, consequences of all the workplace conflict that's appearing in many sectors of our economy. Um, we see not only conflict in the form of more strikes and other types of impasses in collective bargaining. We also see a restive workforce that's either exhibiting their disillusionment with management by having higher grievances or quit rates, or in some cases, turning down negotiated agreements in the midst of ongoing collective bargaining. We've heard tales of the difficulties occurring right now in the entertainment industry among the writers and the actors are imminently deciding whether they're going to go out on strike. We've also seen strikes in healthcare and at Boeing. We see the possibility of a strike emerging at UPS, and there's also some talk about the fact that in the upcoming negotiations at the big three in the auto industry, they're going to be very difficult negotiations. Well, in any case, we're launching a series of workshops that'll occur monthly. Each month will address a different aspect of conflict and trying to focus in not only on sort of what's happening to bring you up to date with current events, but more importantly, to try and address solutions to the conflict, measures labor and management can take to both minimize the occurrence of conflict or the damages caused by conflict. Of course, in our field, we recognize that conflict is to some extent inevitable, but that doesn't mean that prolonged conflict and unnecessary conflict is really desirable. We're going to start this series with a workshop in October. On October 11th, we'll talk about the occurrence of strikes and impasses in collective bargaining. We'll then move on in November, on November 13th, to have a clinic in which we'll, in particular, bring the parties involved in this workshop together in person to work through measures, steps they can take to minimize the occurrence of conflict and the potential damages from conflict. I should say that many of the workshops, not the one in November, but the October workshop and then subsequently the workshop in December, January, and February, those will be virtual workshops. You can join them as a Zoom meeting. They're going to be highly interactive. They'll be led by the faculty involved in the Scheinman Institute, but we're going to develop the workshops in a manner that draws on the experience of the parties, your experience. So the participants are going to be asked to raise questions, to give examples of how they're addressing issues, give examples of difficulties they're facing as well as successes. We'll bring to the table some, as faculty, some of our own observations of what seems to be working well, but we're going to rely on audience participation. These workshops, whether it's the virtual one in October, December, January, February, or the in-person workshop to occur, that workshop, the in-person one will occur at our ILR Conference Center on 570 Lexington Avenue. But all the workshops will be free. You'll be required to register so we can get a feel for how many people are coming, and we can also follow up with subsequent information. But they'll be free. We're doing that because there just seems to be a lot of activity, a lot of conflicts. Parties are asking us for advice. We had a huge turnout at the May panel discussion we held. You may have participated or heard about it, where we had lead practitioners discussing their own assessment of what was leading to labor management conflict and ways in their own experience the parties could avoid the conflicts. That included Marty Scheinman as a participant, as well as Michael Mulgrew of the UFT and several other lead practitioners. The audience for that, again, that was virtual, was over 170, and that's led us to think hard about how we can further engage with the parties and provide useful information. So eventually, if you want to participate, you'll need to register for one or more of these workshops. You don't have to attend them all. You can just participate as you see fit in any one of them or several of them. We don't yet have the full information on our website. That'll be coming within a couple of weeks. But at this point, I just wanted to bring it to your attention to highlight what we're working on, what you might find of interest, and also to give you a chance to think whether it might be you or someone else in your organization or other people in other organizations that you think would benefit from participating in these workshops. Again, they're going to be highly interactive. We as faculty leads will prompt the discussion, providing examples and illustrations. And in the in-person November event, of course, there'll be interactive exercises and discussion and coaching that'll go on. The workshops won't be long. The virtual workshops will be 1 hour or in some cases 2 hour long, depending on the topic. The in-person event held in November will likely be around 3 hours long. Once we bring people together, we want to make good use of their time. But we found that people now are used to interacting virtually, and we want to expand upon that mode of communication. So again, you're invited to join. You'll see more information about these workshops on our Scheinman Institute website, and in subsequent director reports like this, I'll bring you up to date as our plans more fully develop. Thanks again.